Welcome to the Rise to Thrive podcast with Matt
and Brooke,
where we embrace what it means to be human and explore how to become the most expansive versions of ourselves through vitality, connection, and play.
Expect honest conversations, transformative stories, and playful shenanigans as we unpack what it means to claim a life of your own creation.
Ready?
Let's rise.
Yeah, we're back from another episode with us.
I'm Brooke.
Well, welcome back, Brooke.
Thank you.
Welcome back to our podcast.
So grateful for you to have me on our podcast.
Yeah, well, I'm just keeping it cool because we only did about 5 test runs to get this audio and video sorted today.
We probably already did 2 hours of
podcasting. Man, we got a lot of blooper content, y'all.
We are learning, okay? It is a learning curve. Cheers.
Tea's almost done.
Yep, cold and empty.
And finished.
But we're going to pretend like we're drinking it. Yep, it's part of
Do you guys like
thing.
that?
We have to drink tea every episode just because.
It's so good. I love this tea.
Yep. We got an amazing tea recipe, actually, from the homie at Skooliepalooza 2026, which is what we're coming on to talk about. But our friend Omri, shout out to Omri.
Shout out to Omri.
Who was cooking up some fresh chai, doing it up, pestle and mortar and pestle. Okay. For some reason, I have a hard time with that. But doing all of the fresh herbs right there on the spot, cooking it up over the Coleman stove, serving the people, and it was divine.
Yeah, he was stage side at like some crazy DJ show with fire spinning and all sorts of light shows and lasers and
LED
and he's
goodness.
Just set up next to there, whipping up that homemade, authentic chai right beside the stage. So
yeah, probably in the top 3.
Definitely top 3 chais.
So he gave us the recipe. We're going to give it a go because we love it. We love chai, and we'll see if we can make something worth making again.
Make something worth making again.
Yep.
And if it's not worth making again, we will iterate, improve, and refine until it is worth making.
That is true.
Again.
Right on.
And we'll lock in the recipe.
Yep. And we might share it.
Yeah.
Probably. Because we like to share things that are good. That's kind of what we do. We find something that we really love and we share it, which is why we're here sharing this epic gathering that we went to. It happens every single January, 2 weeks of January.
Yep.
Every single year in the desert of Arizona, Ehrenberg. And this was our first year, but it's called Skooliepalooza.
Yep. And we weren't sure if we were going to make a good chunk of this year. We had some retreats we were scheduled to be cooking for as we got into that at the end of 2025. But those retreats weren't happening, so we got to spend over a week out there. And we went into this experience a little trepidatious, a little hesitant.
I knew you were going to say that word for some reason. Yeah.
It's my new favorite word. No, it's not new.
Trepidatious. It is kind of new in our world for some reason.
I mean, I've used that word before, but I was a little trepidatious.
It's a good word.
You know, we heard some stories of the shenanigans that have gone on at this particular gathering in the past. And anytime you don't have a ticketed event and you've got just kind of a free-for-all of all sorts of different types of human beings coming together, you know, you're going to have different groups of
a little bit of riffraff.
Yeah, a little bit of riffraff here and there, you know?
Yep. And this was like all the pirate stuff. Like there's a whole city. I mean, this is basically like an entire city, pop-up city in the middle of nowhere, but there's like a whole pirate's cove of crazy rigs that are decked out like pirate ships.
Yeah.
And then people are like running around stealing flags and like doing pirate shit.
And we're still trying to understand, you know, these subsets, these different sub-communities within these gatherings and what their ethos is, what their values are, what they stand for, what they're there to bring, you know, to the experience and what they're there to take away as well. But yeah, so I guess it's just to describe Skooliepalooza, it's an unled, event. There's no particular leadership who is putting it together. It's a co-created gathering that's been happening out in the desert in this particular area near Quartzsite, Arizona. I think it's about 30 minutes or less from Quartzsite. And that's a big hub in Arizona for van life people, schoolie people live in school buses, or
like snowbird
people. Anyone who's, nomadic and is chasing the warmer weather. That's kind of a big hub for people to head down to warmer pastures for the winter. So this particular location is really close to there, and everybody kind of descends on this area of BLM land, and pops up for a mini festival gathering,
city village,
mini Burning Man situation.
It literally looks like that.
Yeah,
but it's cool. Like, what I really was admiring about it was that it was completely self-organized.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't need to have any of that leadership. It comes to show how capable we are as humans to come together and self-organize and self-govern, and there's chats and communities and people keeping each other in check for the most part.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was our first one, so this is kind of our first impression. But yeah, we came in a little there's always a lens of a little bit of judgment, maybe.
Definitely.
Because we love going to high vibe, high conscious, transformational festivals, and these van life nomad gatherings just bring people from all walks of life that are drawn to this lifestyle. So you just really get a whole variety box of chocolates, where you bite into that chocolate and you're just damn, that was not what I wanted. And then you have to buy 3 more to find a good one. But ultimately, I think one of the big lessons in this whole experience that we've been taught over and over and over again as we are, kind of joining more of these nomad gatherings, is how surprised we are by, I think it's really, scratch that. Just how we get to create our own experience, and that we bring the energy that we want to experience.
Right.
And we also pop up and we're doing our Rise to Thrive thing. We're vending and selling organic superfood smoothies and juice and wheatgrass shots and things like that. And we've got our sign with organic food on it. And so there's a bit of a vortex that we create anyway, that people are drawn to what we're serving up as well.
Yeah. And I think that was a big discovery and realization for me, because I was hesitant, like I said, and I was like, oh man, is it going to be dark? Is it going to be kind of not our vibe, not our people? Could we have a bad experience if we end up, parked next to the wrong people, or not finding, didn't know how big this thing was going to be. Are we not going to be able to find the people that are resonant with us? And I think that was a big learning for me, was the fact that we were on vendor row. We had prime real estate where 2 roads were intersecting close to the entrance. And it was cool to see to discover how our booth and what we're advertising, selling organic superfoods and smoothies, and we had our sign, like you mentioned, that type of thing isn't for everybody, and it did provide a filter. The ones that were resonant with that kind of lifestyle, or with eating healthy, or, at least curious in inquiring of what we're doing, were the ones that were drawn to our booth and started chatting with us. And I was blown away with how many amazing people that were on our wavelength did come through,
Yeah, and we just happened to be, it's we were looking for a spot where to park, and we had to go through a few different people to kind of figure out where we're going to land. And then it's oh, we got denied because of blah, blah, blah reasons. And then we ended up parking next to, first of all, our van that we are calling in, our visionary, our manifestation. We've been mobbing in a minivan, 1998 Toyota Sienna, the van that I learned to drive on, actually. And highly functional and great, but we're calling it a van where we can stand and create more of our, vending setup in a bigger rig. And so we landed next to the van, Ford Transit, high roof, extended, with the homie, Mark. Shout out to Mark, who was such a sweetheart, just such a joy, and ended up being one of the highlights of our entire Skooliepalooza.
Definitely.
And yeah, if you want to share a little bit more about why that's important,
Why
that stands out. Like, what was it about like our experience next to our neighbor Mark?
Oh, well, I mean, like you mentioned, we tried to set up on Vendor Row, like 2 different other places, and we were chatting with the neighbors there, and we were kind of like, this is not a vibe. This isn't a fuck yes, this isn't like exactly where we want to be. We didn't click with our neighbors. And then the second spot, they were like, oh, like somebody else is going to be parking here and setting up here, our friends. So we pushed on to our third spot, and immediately, like I kind of poked my head or knocked on the door of his van, and Mark poked his head out and was like, yeah, that's you, this is where you're parking. And I was like, sweet. That was super chill, and like I was stoked because it was in such a good location. I was like, this is a really good spot. But it turned out like things happen for a reason, along the same thread of like you attract your tribe. Like immediately we clicked so much with Mark, and just dropped into so many meaningful, deep conversations in our time being out there, and just sitting by his fire pit. And like, he was such a curious guy, just asking so many questions and just wanting to learn about our life experience for himself. And it was just such a treat for me to experience a human being who was so curious and gave so much of the floor for us to share and contribute to him, which I find kind of rare these days. Many people are out there and want to talk about themselves, and I'm happy to listen. I do a lot of listening, and I'm very curious about other people. And for me, it was really refreshing and touching to meet somebody who was like matching that same energy. And it was cool because as we got to know each other a lot deeper and stuff, turns out he's born 1989 and in May. So just like a couple months after me. And, just, having a conversation with some of our other friends at Skooliepalooza who are also both born in the month I was born, March, also 1989. I'm like, holy shit, like there is a resonance with people who are all kind of born in the same time.
Sometimes,
but I was making that connection, and I thought that was kind of cool because I didn't know that about Shalina and Patrick too. The berry fairies, the ones you've probably seen in some of our content, who are responsible for starting the strawberry cult,
aka the strawberry, what is it, the haberdashery, how do you say it? I don't even know how to say that word.
Haberdashery.
Anyway, the berry fairies, we are part of the berry patch, and we became part of the berry patch at Northwest Nomads, which was our first official van life gathering in fall of 2025, last year. But they sell these, they frolic around in these little felt strawberry hats handmade by these Nepalese women. And everyone, they're sauna hats, but everyone was loving them everywhere they go because they're just magical little humans that just bless people up with their
it spreads so much joy and magic and love, and
that's what they do. Like now, actually, I think Northwest Nomads was the first time that they were sharing and selling their hats, but we joined it, and then you just would start seeing the strawberry patch grow, and all these little strawberry hats are running around the fairgrounds or the grounds, the festival grounds, and it's really cool because they're the kind of people that you're just like, whatever they're doing, I want to be a part of it because they're having so much fun. They're spreading joy and magic and just helping people to get reignited and reconnected with their inner child.
Yeah. That's a big pillar of our work and what Rise to Thrive is about, play being a big component of that. And at a lot of these gatherings, that's what we find ourselves being in most, I mean, vitality, connection, and play. We're out there sharing vitality.
We're connecting,
and we're connecting deeply in these communities with people, in groups and one-on-one. And then so much of it is centered around play. And like, we get to just be our full weirdos out there because anything goes.
And it's like, that's kind of like all the barriers are dropped and people are allowed to finally express themselves authentically out there. And that's what drew me to like the festival gathering kind of culture to begin with. I was like, what? Adults can do this? Like, this is what's possible on a micro, like it's showing the microcosmic level of what could be possible on the macrocosmic level. And that just like blew my mind and was like, I'm literally going to make my life a living festival. And I like to say it's like an adult playground, you know? And I think that all of us adults, what's the quote? That you don't stop playing because you grow old. You grow old because you stop playing. And that, like, hearing that quote just totally stuck with me because we spend time with people that could be our parents' age, that are like our homies, you know? And so talking about age is like, yeah, there's this connection. It's just like age doesn't,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We click super deeply with people are over 60, but their inner child is so alive and well, and they're hungry for adventure and, you know, for this kind of lifestyle, which is not common, or maybe it's becoming more common in our world, but it still surprises me, you know, to have people come up and we're playing like crunchy bass music and, you know, they're vibing out in front of our booth. And I'm like, what? You like this music? Like, it's just so cool.
But then you get to hear their stories. And like, that's such a gateway too. It's like, oh, I grew up in this tiny little town of like however many 100 people, you know, and was very guarded and came from a religious family and wasn't allowed to experience this kind of music, you know? So it's like, I think that's something that's really powerful in these spaces is that we actually get to hear people's stories, you know, and have a better, and that is where we are allowed to drop the judgment because we get to hear more about who they truly are and where they come from.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's another big lesson and takeaway for me was just like how much I noticed at first glance by somebody's appearance, how quickly my mind would make up like, oh, they're not into health, or they're not into this, or they're this way, you know, they're a crusty person and, you know, going to be cranky and grumpy and all of this, you know. And then the amount of times we've been surprised or I've been surprised, and then the amount of times that once we drop into a deep conversation and get to hear their stories, I'm just like, wow, what an amazing human being who's been through so many cool experiences and hardships and, you know, highs and lows and everything in between. And, you know, some of those people are just like, yeah, I like really cherish those moments of connecting with some of the people I probably judge the most.
Yeah, you know? Totally. Until you're like, yeah, like you're just placed perfectly for them to come and start up a conversation. And I think that's something that's cool about co-creating in these spaces and being able to like bend and pop up. It's like we get to come into contact with so many people and have all these like opportunities for conversations that we wouldn't normally have. You know, it's like there's one thing to be an attendee, and I love that. And that was my gateway into this world. But there's another thing to be like co-creating and co-facilitating. And of course, the attendees are also co-creating and co-facilitating, but like more in the sense that we're serving, we're being in service in some kind of way and exchanging with people. And so there's just like so much variety, and it just hypes me up so much to, yeah, I think a lot of our joy, or my joy, oh, yours too, because we talked about this, is the service and how good that feels to be in service to others, especially in these spaces where you're like, ooh, like they're not all like already into eating high vibe foods and into breath work and, you know, ecstatic dance and all the things that like our world is.
It's become normalized in our world.
Like everyone's a coach and trying to facilitate some transformational healing. It's fun to be in places where not everyone is that. Yeah. And you get to sprinkle a little bit of your magic and plant seeds.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And I think it's cool because like some of our late night chats, you know, people be out dancing and, vibing to some music at the Pirate Cove, and we'd be like hanging out.
Not vibing at the Pirate
Cove. Or
not
vibing. Not talking shit, but like different flavors for different folks.
Flavors.
Different strokes for different folks.
We all have different preferences for music.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing.
But we'll be like back at our booth, which is our camp as well. Where we're just like making tea or having some soup or out late night eat or just taking a break, kicking our feet up and just seeing what kind of magical humans roll up to our booth. But just, it's cool to debrief with you how our service is going, like how we are serving and the things we would do better. And it's cool because so much of the magic has been through the service, through the contribution to other people, through sprinkling magic, opening someone up to a whole new world of something. And for me, I think we've come up with so many different ideas of new things we want to add, how we want to serve deeper, how we want to cultivate even more of a vibe that transforms people and just being in our experience.
The Matt and Brooke experience.
The Matt and Brooke experience, and it's really cool because to see somebody come not knowing what this is all about, you and I and in our mission, but then to see them leave like transformed or like, with their mind blown or just like so grateful that they connected with us is such a cool thing.
Right, where we're just being us and people come in and are just like, what? We're like, dude, join the fucking party because this is just who we are and how we live our lives and teach by being, it's one of my mantras, but it's like not even teaching. It's just like
just being.
It's just being.
Being gives permission to others to be.
To be. Yeah. And that people can feel are just like love to all play together and be in joy and connection. And, we do our best to really welcome everyone to our home, which is our little booth, our little Rise to Thrive booth that is it's just so simple and sweet right now with our little awning on the minivan. And, we got big dreams, y'all, and it's coming. And just stay tuned for the upgraded rendition because it's gonna get pretty dope.
But also honoring where we've come from too, because it's evolved so much. And we added our little, we added the awning last year, and we keep, as we continue to vend and go to different festivals, and contribute in that way, we're refining, we're adding new little tweaks, we're simplifying our setup. The table looks different. We got a new sign now, Anaya and you painting, the sandwich board and like getting creative.
Making the sandwich board.
Yep. Taking some scrap wood and cutting it down and, like those little pieces have added so much and have brought so much more clarity, I think, to people who are walking by.
Yeah, because our booth too kind of looks like we wear many hats, it's like we're doing this, but we're also doing that. So people are like kind of confused of like what is actually going on at this little minivan. How are you guys whipping up like all the shit out of the back of your minivan, which is something that is pretty crazy. That we're whipping up smoothies and juice and all this goodness from the minivan with like a couple of coolers. Yeah. But yeah, it's very like educational as well. So we're learning how to like dance with it all and invite people in and give them this experience and taste the magic of, these amazing high vibe, beautiful bioavailable organic superfood smoothies that I've been putting in my body for 6 years now. It has changed my life, and I want to share that with others, but there's like a huge educational piece to it because it's not just like drinking smoothies. Excuse me. I got a little choked up there. I think on my tea. Spice. Yeah, there's more to it. There's like a huge educational piece, and that's like what is really foundational for people to take on a healthier lifestyle. It's like understanding the gut health and the glyphosate and the pesticides and what's going on with our frankenfood system and the soil health and why it's important to be putting these superfoods in our body to just get back to a baseline health, and that's literally a conversation for a totally like 5 podcast episodes. Yeah. But that's why our booth is like, there's education and there's ordering smoothies and
there's health transformations available if you want to jump into that yourself. And
there's books, there's like
there's courses, there's all sorts of stuff, depending on how deep people want to go. But a big reason, well, one of the reasons why we do this, one is they're the most fun and our favorite way to connect and network with people. It's definitely not on social media primarily. It's belly to belly, in person with people, where people can feel us and we can feel them and we can go deep, but also giving people a taste that like living healthy, and eating healthy can actually taste really great, and showing people by doing it for them and empowering them, because we're not just trying to sell smoothies to people. This is just a gateway, right? And we want them to do it for themselves. And this is such a good nomadic food, especially in places where it's hard to find good healthy food, that has changed the game for us. We're like, come on, we want to empower others to do it too.
Yep, the real fast food, we call it.
Yeah. So
yeah, we're teaching a man to fish. We're not just giving him a fish, we're teaching him. Well, first we'll cook him up the fish, and then
there's no fish in our smoothies, just so we can be very
Metaphorical
clear.
Fish.
Metaphorical fish.
Yeah. But yeah, so the evolution continues, but this was our second official nomad gathering, and we're going to keep them coming because there is something really special in these communities. And, we could have missed out on that if we let our judgment, take.
We would have missed both. Seat. The two that we've been to that were primarily focused around vans and nomad life. If we left on the first day because of our judgments, and we thought about it.
Yeah, we did. And then we went and we took a little hike up the hill at Northwest Nomads, and we're like, okay, we're going to set our judgments aside, and we set some intentions for being open and whatever else our intentions were. But
being open, being the one. We're going to allow ourselves to be surprised, allowing miracles and magic to come into our world. And
then boom, baby, it just happened. So that's the lesson here, is really be open, put down the judgment, have conversations, get to know people at a deeper level, because we're all freaking humans just trying to human in a time that can feel very challenging to just be human.
Definitely.
But we're trying to, get connected to the joy and the fun and the play and not just that, and the depth and the emotions and all of it, because it's the full spectrum. You can't have one without the other. But it makes life so much better when you can cry together and laugh together and dance and sing and be through it all. And it's in community.
Yeah. And that being said, those are our favorite types of people, as the ones that can go end to end on the spectrum. That can go super deep and real and authentic and talk about the grief and the pain, and then also be an absolute goofball weirdo and play like a kid. And that being said as well, we've got many new connections of those kinds of people that we'll be bringing to the podcast.
That's right.
Very soon.
I'm going to keep it funky and fresh.
The first few episodes might just me and Brooke until you get to know us a little bit.
Me. Hey, God.
It's me, Matt and Brooke.
No. Wait, I did say it like that. Matt and Brooke, we are one unit. We have merged.
We're all one, though, people.
We're all one.
Didn't you know? We're all one.
The illusion is fading away.
The illusion of separation. Don't let it take you down.
Don't let it take you down.
Sheesh. But yeah, we got some great humans coming through very soon. So stay tuned. And let us know in the comments too what you're liking hearing about, what you want to hear more of, and we can definitely steer this ship in the direction where y'all are finding the most resonance.
Yeah, this is for you, but it's also for us, because we enjoy this.
We enjoy a reason to sit here fully present drinking tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling all professional and shit.
Yeah. I just like hearing the sound of my own crunchy voice in my ears.
Me too. Matt's crunchy voice.
You don't have headphones on.
I know.
But anything else you want to wrap with that stood out, or?
Well, This ain't for the faint of heart, everybody, because unless you got your own toilet on deck, you gonna be digging holes out in the deep desert.
That's true.
Yeah.
Actually, there's some funny stories because, there was, every time you gotta, have a bowel movement, you gotta go find yourself a little piece of privacy where you can do your business.
Which is kind of challenging when you're in the desert and not in a forest of trees.
Right. So with that many people out there too, luckily there was this little road down in a bit of a valley that seemed to be
the wash.
We called it the wash, where people would go on their, not walk of shame, but walk of fame to find their hole. And every time I would go down there, I would just go kind of meander in the same area and, find a new spot that didn't have a little rock tombstone on top of a pile, which is...
Is that just like a universal thing?
Usually? I don't know. That's just something I started doing with respect to other people. True. To let them know there's a landmine there. Nature didn't tumble these rocks perfectly in this spot. So letting them know, don't dig here.
Take note.
but I remember Patrick called it a tombstone or a little poop stone. So I started doing that. So I would always go back to the same spot and find, a new area to dig a hole. But it was just always so funny to hear you coming back from your poop missions and being stressed out. Like someone was following me. Somebody walked by.
It's literally God laughing at me.
Yeah. I never had conflicts with other people down there where it's like somebody's trying to poop at the same time or somebody's walking by. Like
every time I went out there with my little, called it the kit. It was my little bag with the little shovel and the wipes and the TP.
Yeah.
And every time I was like, okay, it's my time. Yeah. There'd be somebody hiking out at the exact same time, or I'd look back and there's a homie literally walking out with this shovel too and like following my same path. And I was just like, oh my God, come on.
Come on, man. I need some privacy, God.
I just need to poop in peace. Yeah. So with the upgrade, that is just something you got to think about. And, I do really enjoy being in nature and going to the bathroom in nature. There's something very just like primal about it. And like, especially if you got a view or you're just tucked into the forest and, you're like on soft moss, like, it's nice.
Nature's
it's nice,
toilet paper.
Yeah.
Soft moss. There's a mullein leaf.
Nature's toilet paper.
Great for the lungs. Great for a butt wipe.
That's right. So look into that. But yeah, that was like the only other random little funny thing, because that is a question that we had to ask our friends. We're like, what is that situation? Because it's on BLM land. So just be prepared with the poop plan.
Yeah. Come with a poop plan. And maybe we refine it for next year. We'll debrief that off the podcast. Because I think that's enough poop talk for one pod.
Yeah. Oh, but also just one other thing that I'd like to say was really cool is that before these gatherings, like we already mentioned the intention thing, but we set some intentions for this Skooliepalooza, and literally every single one of our intentions was fulfilled, like to a T. Yeah. So the power of intention, it totally works. Do it, set them, even if they seem kind of silly. It's like, or just be open. The intention is to be open, but having specific intentions was really helpful.
Yeah, that helps refine things, I was saying at the beginning, just the worry of like attracting some things that we weren't really calling in. But when we set intentions, then it refines what comes into our experience and what we say no to and what we say yes to and what we welcome in and invite and what we are like, not really trying to go there.
Yeah. And like having the ping of like, oh, like we're more aware of it happening or coming into our field.
Right. And we also said, like you can't really experience these things alone unless you're not saying yes to invitations or not making invitations to others when you're there. Right. That was a really big thing, is like when somebody's like, hey, do you guys play chess? And we're literally walking by, it's like through our response and then getting pulled into a conversation and telling a little story, that literally happened to us. And, we dropped into a portal with these couple other dudes and we left there with a free book and some new friends, but you have to say yes. And we could have just kept walking, been like, nah, just kept walking. Good. But when you say yes to those invitations, those things that pull you in, and you also make them to other people, which we were constantly doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that is something that's really important, because some people come and they're like, I don't know, like, how to make friends. And it's like, to us, we're like, how can you not make friends? But it's by being friendly, and everyone there is there to connect. And so it's like, even literally just going up to someone and like saying hi, like, people are pretty open to that. But there's always constantly invitations, and you can be the one to be that, to extend the invitation to others. And that's how you're going to have bless. That's how you're going to have a more immersive quality experience, is by saying yes and by saying no. Oh, yep. Yes, and also saying no to the things that you're like, not fuck yes. Yeah.
And again, that's where the intention comes in, because if it's not for you, you're like, that's not actually what I'm here for.
Yeah. So you can, and it feels good.
Yeah.
To say no. It feels good to also be a grandma and go to sleep before. I think our latest night was 12:30 out there.
I think you're right. Yeah, 12:30.
So going to sleep, getting a great night's rest, and waking up refreshed, so that you can have more
another
energy
full power day.
And more full power for all the happenings that are happening all the time. Yeah. So highly recommend. Anything else?
Was there a favorite moment for you? I know there were so many good ones, but I'm curious if there was. We could wrap maybe on a favorite moment.
Do you have one?
Yeah.
I gotta think about it.
I definitely have one.
Okay, what?
The moment that Josh rolled up with our water refill and he comes in with his truck and he just stops in the middle of the road and he's blasting this like dubstep music, and I'm like, there's Josh. I wasn't sure he was coming back.
Yeah, for like the next day.
And I like ran out from behind the table and just start getting down to his music, and he comes out with the jug of water and he's dancing with the water, and then all of a sudden all of our other friends jump in and we're in this dance circle, and that shit was like so epic for me.
Got that on video, and it's so beautiful. And just like all the people that were around us at the time were just like pulled in, and it wasn't even a second thought. It was just like, yep,
that's what's happening. Jump in.
Yeah,
I want to be a part of that.
That's true. I mean, that was definitely a very special moment for me as well. Yeah, I had a cool, there's so many good ones. I'm just going to pull one, but the collaboration piece that I got to experience with the homie Mark, there's open mics at the Gayborhood. Yeah. Epic setup, full on stage, full production thing. And yeah, super rad. And I got an opportunity to do a little poetry reading, and Mark plays the guitar. And so we did a collaboration where he was playing while I was reading the poetry. And then I have this whole like vision of I've created this whole workshop that I haven't run the experiment of it yet, but it's poetry in motion, and it's really having like this interpretive dance piece paired with the poetry. And so like spontaneously, first we wanted Matt to come up and interpretive dance to it, but
I was taking a night off.
Yeah, he said no, respectfully. And so we just called up. We're like, if anyone in the crowd wants to come and do like interpretive dance for our performance. And there were like 2 people that totally came up and danced, and it was like a whole amazing thing that just totally naturally transpired. And me and Mark had never done that together.
Right. I mean, he just picked some music to play, and he had never heard your poem. Right. And those people have never heard your poem or the music.
Right. But I like had a whole production. It was like a whole
live creation improv. Artistic improv.
It was really cool. I was like, whoa, like that just friggin' happened. Yeah, that was really special. But
beautiful.
Yeah. There's so many. That's just one.
Yeah. So many magical moments happen in the in-betweens of these big moments too, you know?
Yeah. And I think the most special moments are really just the deep drop-ins with people.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. We'll do it again.
Definitely.
See you next year, Skoolie.
Yep. Skooliepalooza 2027.
Yeah.
We'll see you there.
Dang.
If
Whoever wants to come.
y'all want to be a part of it, hit us up, reach out, put it on your calendars. I mean, today we built a whole spreadsheet of a bunch of events that we're going to be at this year. So if you want to catch us too in the flow, out there with the people, serving up the goods and the magic and the high vibes and the play, let us know too. We'll let you know our itinerary and where we're going to be, when, and how you can get in touch.
Yep. Hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to play with you. We'd love to meet you on the pickleball court.
That's true. We got to mention it at least once per episode. We played for 3.5 hours this morning. Just one last thing. We had to leave Skooliepalooza a little early this year, even though we wanted to stay, because we had to come back to Joshua Tree to wrap things up and play a few more games of pickleball with our crew out here.
That's right.
Shout out to the pickleball pod
Yucca Valley.
In Yucca Valley. Thanks for making
amazing.
it magical here.
Yep.
Wouldn't have been the same without you.
We'll end with that. All right. Much love, everybody.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.